They've not screamed for the whole world to hear.
Hi, beautiful people, and welcome to my live. I'm Sissy from Manifest underscore Sissy. My channel is all about spirituality, self development, and self awareness. Okay, if you have not as yet, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, right? So you can check out the videos as I bring them out, and also when I do my lives. I normally do my lives on a Saturday or in a Sunday, right? So today we're going to talk about a very interesting concept. Okay, the whole idea that human beings have this worship program. Okay, we worship everything outside of us. We recognize everything outside of us as being more superior and more valid and more right and correct. We do not recognize our own power because we are not taught to do so, right? Because you can only act on what you are taught. You can only do what you have been taught, right? So from childhood, we taught that there is a God, that there is a church, is religion, right? And we are lesser. So if you spend most of your life being told that you are lesser, when you come to the concept of you being your own divine sort of sovereign being, as having your own rights and authority over your life experience, it's a bit difficult for you to tune into that, right? It's difficult for you to tune into that concept that you are divine in every way possible, that you are created in the image of God, even if it's in the Bible. It's not taught, it's not spoken about that you are divine. Okay, you are taught that you are a lesser being and that you are a sinner in most religions, that you are not perfect, that you need to perfect yourself to be acknowledged and accepted by God. Okay, the God of religion. All right. So when you step out of that space and you learn about things like that, I have the power, I have the authority to create my own experience here. I'm not a sinner. I'm a person full of rights and power, right? And I have authority of my life experience. So today's topic, we're going to speak about the concepts about uh, being your own God, right? Being a God of your own life experience, okay? In most cases, people will say that you are now talking against what religion teaches you. However, when you become mature in spirituality, you understand, and even sometimes in religion as well, you understand that you have the power and authority to actually call yourself your own sovereign being, okay? Right. So today's topic is about that, being your own God, owning your own power, and making your own decisions in life, okay? So it doesn't mean that you're arrogant. It doesn't mean that you're saying that there's no God. You are saying that you have the power and the authority and you're working with the divine source because you are in collaboration. You're working with God to create your own life experience. So that meaning that you are the one in charge of your own experience. So you take accountability for your life experience. You stop looking for an external savior, a guru, a system, a religion, a person with more authority than you. You stop doing that because you know that you understand your inner guidance is supreme, right? Your inner guidance is supreme. You start looking within yourself. You trust your intuition more than outside noise, okay? You become powerful in that way. You take radical responsibility for your own life experience. You're not saying, if only God can help me, if only a church can help me, if only so and so can help me. You're taking your own authority. Okay, that is a radical responsibility. That's what it's all about, right? Everything you experience is either consciously or unconsciously created within you, right? So you, in most cases, you're living in autopilot. In the world at today, we're all living in autopilot. Most people are not awoke. Then you get people like myself who are working on living more authentically and more aware about what we're doing on a day-to-day basis. Then you can affirm, I am the creator of my own reality, right? I am not a victim of life. I am responsible for all in my life. Life responds to me, right? I'm not a victim. life responds to me. It's all about that. All right, sovereignty is important to understand that you have the sovereignty and the power, right, to do as you would like to do. And remember that every action has a reaction. Okay, so when you do something, you know you're gonna get something back, right? Determined on what you're doing, okay? Because you have the freedom and the sovereignty. Sovereignty. Sovereignty means self-governance. It means you are the ruler of your own inner kingdom, your inner self, your inner world, your inner universe. Mental sovereignty, let's speak about that. You choose thoughts instead of fear, and you don't let that fear control you. You choose your thoughts. You choose your perceptions, okay? So you choose your thoughts instead of letting fear, conditioning, or society lead you, affect you, or dictate to you. Okay, that is your mental sovereignty in your mind. You're choosing thoughts that don't give your power away. Basically, that's what they're saying here when they say that you basically have the authority of your own thoughts. So your thoughts starts with your thoughts because you create it from the mind. Okay, so you will choose those thoughts, right? That'll give you power instead of thoughts that will actually give away your power and make you a victim, right? You feel like, okay, things are happening to me, so I'm feeling like a victim. But when you choose those thoughts that I am actually taking part in this whole creation of my own life experience, I'm in power here, right? So that's a more powerful way of you living. You live with power, okay? So that's what it's all about. When you become aware, you start taking authority of your life experience, owning yourself right now. That now you're coming closely to be your own God, your own authority. When you start thinking like that, when you're choosing your thoughts and you take responsibility for everything that's happening in your life experience. Okay, you're honoring yourself and you're honoring the world and you're honoring others as well. Right. So when you become responsible of your thoughts and what you do, you are more aware of how you respond to the world, how you treat other people. That one is very important as well, right? So back to sovereignty. Sovereignty is owning yourself, right? Totally owning yourself on a mental capacity, right? And also energetically as well, because everything's energy, right? You respond rather than react. You're responding then better than reacting, because remember, reaction is all about you being triggered. A response is that, yes, I understand the situation. Now let me respond um, respectively. You get my point? But if you are somebody that's just reacting to life, you've been triggered. It's the triggers that are sparking those reactions, right? So now you're not in control. You are living in autopilot. You are on the subconscious level. Subconscious mind is controlling you because you are being triggered. Okay, so that's the emotional sovereignty. Rather than reacting, you're now responding. You're no longer allowing others to control your emotional states. Okay, your emotional state is very important, and we are mostly driven by our emotions, right? We either suppressing them or we expressing them very toxically. We either suppressing our emotions or we expressing them very toxically because of fear. Okay, when a person's angry, they're actually afraid. It's fear. The underlying emotion that actually drives anger is fear. So people will say, okay, well, I'm angry and I'm really, really angry because I'm afraid, but I'm not going to let them know I'm afraid. So I will lash out. I cannot let the world know I'm afraid. So I'm going to come across as very, very aggressive so that I can protect myself. Like in the wild, in nature, when animals are attacked, right? They attack back, right? Because they're afraid of being hurt or even dying, right? So it's a natural reaction. Anger is a natural reaction to when people are fearful, right? Because you either run away or you stand ground and then you lash back because you're afraid, right? So people have this idea that people are angry or not afraid, right? But they say that people that run away or retreat are afraid. Both are afraid. The only way is that the animal has chosen, they have chosen different ways on reacting to the fearful situation. Others will run, others will stand their ground and attack. and stop being violent, right? So these are the things that it's a natural response when you feel you under attack. Hi, Pittman, Guzman, how you doing, babes? Hope you're well. Thank you for joining my life. Today we're talking about being your own God, okay? And we're talking about different levels of how you can own your own self and be your own sovereign person, your own God, okay? So I spoke about firstly I spoke about the concept of what it means to be your own God, okay? I spoke about that. Thank you for joining my life, right? I spoke about that. I spoke about sovereignty, the mental sovereignty, right? Your thoughts, choose your thoughts instead of letting fear and condition of society control you or dictate your thoughts. You choose your thoughts. That's a mental sovereignty, right? Now, a lot of coaches and mental manifestation coaches are teaching about manifesting, right? They're speaking about you choosing your thoughts, right? But remember that manifesting creating is what we do all the time. But what about when you want something? You're always creating, you're living your life experience, and you are a creator naturally, okay? However, if your thoughts are based on lack and fear, you will be manifesting lack and fear experiences in your life, okay? So that's what we know. Very important, right? Then the emotional sovereignty is also important. Emotional sovereignty, you respond rather than react, right? You no longer allow others to control your emotional state, right? So now you are mature enough to say, I'm going to respond, right? Because the fact that when you just react, you're out of control, you've been triggered, as I said. Then there's energetic sovereignty. You manage your vibration, your frequency, and boundaries consciously, right? Remember that. You manage your vibration and your frequencies and boundaries consciously. You're not now living in a hypnotic way. You're not just like going with the flow. You are actually managing your vibration and your frequency with what you are doing, what you're thinking, what you're saying, and what you are feeling, how you're responding to life. You're no more just reacting, you're now responding. Then the spiritual sovereignty, right? This is what I teach my clients. Spiritual sovereignty is important. You conduct and connect directly to your source rather than rely on external authority, right? So you connect directly to your source. You don't have to have, like in religion, where you might have a pastor, the teacher, the guru. In spirituality, you connect directly to the source because you are part of that source, right? So spiritual sovereignty, you connect directly to the source rather than rely on external authority, a middle person to guide you and guide your path, okay? You shifting now by default and living by design, okay? You shifting from the default, in other words, and now you're living by your design, how you want to live. You are shifting from the default way of living, and you now start living by default, by design, by intention. Your design, you actually, when I say design, I say you are designing your life experience. Thank you for the hugs, love. Thank you, Pittman, for the hugs. You are creating your own life experience, okay? So you are living by design, not by default. You're not just like an autopilot. You're now deciding to live your life consciously, okay? That's what it's all about. Being your own divine God, being your own sovereign being. You know what I mean? Moving your life the way you want to live your life, right? Then number three is making decisions as a creative being. Making those decisions and taking accountability of your life experience is very important. We must take accountability of our life experience. Making decisions as a creative being, you're no more a victim. You're now a conscious creator of all things in your life. When you act as a creator rather than a follower, remember a lot of people are consumers and not creators, okay? A lot of people are complaining about them not making money and not living the life they want to live because they choose to be consumers and not creating. They're not even creating your own life experience in a sense because they're copycatting. They're copying what they see in social media. You're living and creating as a consumer. Whatever your famous best social media influencer that you're following, you start following that person's life experience. That means you are more of a consumer. You are not a creator. You're not creating your own life experience. Okay. So you have to move from limitation to expansion when you want to be your own God, your own life, your own sovereign being, your own creator of your own reality. You move from limiting a way of living to expansion, from limitation to expansion. You realize that scarcity is a lie. Scarcity is an illusion, that this reality is a reality of abundance. And we have to experience the abundance. We have to experience the abundance, okay, by choice, right? But if you want to choose the opposite of abundance and experience lack, that's also a choice as well, because there's a freedom of choice, okay? But most people don't know that they have the choice to change from a lack or from the lack mentality to abundance, because they really think that this reality is about lack, because it's all on the news about the lack of money and the poverty and hungry people and all those things. It's everywhere. So people think that it is a real reality. Yet not every single person in this life, in this world, is experiencing life the same. Okay. Some people are really experiencing their life in abundance. No matter whatever happens, they're able to manifest it because number one, it's already in their bloodline. Number two, they learned at a young age how to do it. Okay, not every single person that is wealthy and abundance and having good time in the material world was born in material abundance, but they learned and took their power, right? But a lot of the people, masses of the people, are living in scarcity because of fear, because when you're born in poverty, it's a struggle most of the time for you to even get food. I mean, I'm talking about extreme poverty. Okay, you in struggle to get food, to have shelter. So that's the vibration that you actually living in and vibrating always, because for everything that you need and want, it's about the hustle, it's about the lack. You're not really seeing a lot of people, even in your environments, you know what I mean, manifesting and actually living in abundance, right? That kind of thing. But then there's also people living in the middle part who are not neither poor or very rich or wealthy, but they're all living a life where they're getting all their needs met. Okay, and there is some people that are also struggling in that space as well. But it all depends on you, the lifestyle, and also your worldview of your area where you're living. But you know that you can live above your circumstances, you can live above the area that you are living in your mind, and then if you do it long enough, you start manifesting things that are all alike to your perception, because now you are your own God, right? You create your own life experience. And remember that abundance and wealth is not the same with every single person, right? Not every single people have the same perception of what it means to be wealthy. Okay, now remember, the old way of thinking is basically, can I do this? What will others think of me? Because if you are living in a space and body in a space of poverty, when you're raising yourself above that, right? You get my point. You're trying to go above it. You're always thinking what people are going to think about you, what your family is going to think about you, what your friends are going to say about you as well. You're always thinking that, right? You don't understand that, yes, they're your family, you live in your community, but this is not a place where you have to stay forever. You can also rise up, move to another community, move to another country, move to another area that's aligned to your vibration and understanding, okay? And it happens a lot. Like, for example, American sports people or even other sports people from other countries, not all of them are born in wealth, in affluent backgrounds, but but because of their career focus on their sports, they rise up above their environment and they can move to other areas. Now remember that it's like a timeline. You're moving from one timeline to another, right? People don't understand what timelines are. They're not different places, they're different situations, different frequencies. Again, it can be like different places as well. Okay, but it's not, people have this idea that when you move For example, the 3D mentality, right, or vibration dimension to the fourth and the fifth and the sixth is like going to different places. Not necessary. It's first primarily a thought form, a vibration in the mind that I can do this. I am worthy of this thing. I can have this thing. If I just do this and do that, I know I can get where I want to go. And it's about you not giving up in what you desire, right? Before you know it, okay, you can start living in a certain area, you start a certain sports activity, you become very good at it, you get opportunities to go overseas or maybe to become a pro athlete in that field of sport, right? Now that will also now bring different circumstances into life experience, different situations that are aligned to your sports and your skill, right? Same as anything else, maybe even with social media, maybe with anything, even if you are in the religious field as well, if you're good at with like preaching and stuff like that alone can allow you to move to other areas of the world, to go and preach elsewhere, or learn more things about your chosen path in life, whatever it is. Okay, so it's not really based on one thing, but life is like, it's so vast. Basically, life is vast in that way, right? So remember, from fear to love. You're moving from fear to love, basically, right? You're moving from the fear of not having, the fear that you can never achieve, because now you know you can achieve. You've told yourself you achieve. You're experiencing things that are showing you that you are achieving, right? So you're moving away from fear to love. Now, love is more about acceptance. It's about expansion. Love is about compassion, and other good things. It's high vibration way of thinking and living. So you're moving away from fear, which is about uh, lack. It's about not having, not believing, and you're going to the flow of love, which is I believe in myself. I believe that all things are possible. Instead of acting out of survival, you are pleasing others. You choose to resonate with your soul. Your soul says that you are abundant. Okay, so you're moving away from pleasing others. That what are my neighbors are going to say about me? What my family going to say about me if I don't go and hang around with them anymore? Like they might think that I think that I'm better than them. It doesn't matter what people think about you. What matters is what you think about yourself. That's most important. Because people, what they think about you and say about you may be different at any given time. They keep on changing. One minute they love you and they're happy for you. Next minute they're complaining and they're criticizing you, bringing you down. Especially when they feel as if somehow you're going a level above them. You're now getting better. You get up because people think that, oh, now that are hanging around with them because now you successful. They too also have the choice to be successful. Everybody has a choice to be successful. So don't let the people stop you from being what you need to be, and become what you need to become for for your own expansion in this life experience, right? It's all about that. Don't be worried about what people are saying about you. Be more concerned about what you think about yourself and what you're saying about yourself, right? Then you're moving away from control to the flow. You're not controlling life. You're flowing through life, right? Now that's the sweet spot of manifesting your desired life, is when you are at ease. You letting life flow. There's no resistance. You're not second guessing yourself. You're enjoying life, and you know that you are enough, that you are abundant being, that you can have and be whatever you want to be, depending on your own perception about your life. Okay, so that's the whole idea of you not controlling, but just flowing, knowing that you trust in life, knowing that you understand that you are a co-creator with the universe, aka God, if you want to call the universe God. You set intentions, but you also allow the path to unfold, right? You set intentions and then you act, and then you allow the path to unfold. Very important when it comes to manifesting and living your best life, right? Knowing that, okay, today I maybe I might have not reached where I want to go, but I still have tomorrow, I still have time. But I will take it easy and I'll enjoy where I am now and appreciate that I am a different place I was yesterday. Yesterday I was in this place, even in my consciousness. Yesterday I doubted myself. Today I know that I can do this thing because I can see the progress. It's subtle, but I can see it. Now remember that every small progress is important for you. Leafy, hello. Leafy Wilkins, thank you for joining my live. I'm fine, sweetie pie. How are you, lovey? I'm going on and talking. Okay, guys, Leafy, I'm talking about you being your own God of your own life experience, you being the creator of your own life experience, and actually put yourself to the level that you're on, or a powerful being that you are able to manifest and create the life that you want to create, right? So I spoke about these concepts because they're very important when it comes to manifesting and not living as a victim in life, but living as a creator in your life experience, Lifi. Right? That's what I'm talking about today. Being your own God, in other words. People will say, but what are you talking about? There can only be one God. Unfortunately, there's not only one God. Okay, there's God of the Bible. Okay, there's the creator of all living things, right? The one that the universe, we call the universe, we call it God if you want to, right? But remember, religion and nature, two different things. Religion is about the control, nature is about life, it's about creation. It's about giving us the power to make our own decisions in our life experience. Okay. So my channel is about spirituality and self-awareness and self-development, right? It's not a religious uh channel, okay? Right? It's all about self-development and you being aware and taking your own power, right? And being aware of yourself and what you want in your life experience. So I spoke about mental sovereignty first of all, because you have to take your sovereignty if you want to live as somebody who is controlling their own life experience, being your own God in this life. Okay? You stop looking for external saviors, right? You know that you don't need a guru, you don't need a system, you don't need a religion, you don't need a person or an authority to be over your life, right? You are in control of your life experience. You understand your inner guidance is supreme. You understand that your intuition is supreme. The only problem that most people are not connected with their intuition because they don't listen to the inner voice. They don't listen. They don't trust it. They rather trust what their friends said about them, what society said about them, what the church said about them, what religion says about them, what politicians say about them, about what the company says about them. Okay, you are not your job description. You are not your title in your job. You are not even your gender. You're not even your name. You are divine source having a human experience. And that's very important, right? You trust your intuition more than your outside noise about the world, all right? And you take radical responsibility. Key words, yeah, radical responsibility for your life. Everything you experience is either consciously or unconsciously created by you. Everything that you experience is either consciously or unconsciously created by you, meaning that whatever's happening in your life at this moment, wherever you find yourself in your life in this moment, it's not by coincidence, it's not by accidents, it hasn't happened to you. You have manifested it, you have created it, you have lived it, you have made those decisions because you're not a victim in this life, right? Life responds to you, to how you think, what you're doing, and your perceptions in life, your worldview. Life responds to your worldview, right? So in my channel, I'm all about self-development, right? So your worldview is very important. So how you see the world, how you see yourself in accordance to the world is very important. Very, very important, right? Thank you, Flexaman. How are you? Thank you, Munir, for joining my live. Hope you guys are good. Today we're talking about self-development, yes, but we're talking about you being your own God, your sovereign God, you being the creator of your own life experience and actually owning that, owning the sovereignty of being the creator of your own life experience. You're not a victim. Yeah, right. So remember, I spoke about the mental sovereignty, very important. Then I spoke about emotional sovereignty, also important. And then energetic sovereignty and spiritual sovereignty as well. Okay. So energetic sovereignty is when you manage your vibration continuously. You understand how you're feeling and why you're feeling the way you are feeling, right? You understand why things and how things are happening in your life experience, right? You're taking ownership, okay? You know, when you are feeling down, it's okay, right? But it shouldn't be the core vibration of who you are. When you're feeling disappointed because you never get something you wanted and prayed for, you don't stay in that disappointment for too long, right? You're able to see that this experience of the disappointment has just been the experience. You're able to bounce back very fast in life. That's what it's all about. Maintaining your vibration, okay? Realigning new meanings to things that happen in your life. If you put give a negative meaning to a certain thing like a disappointment, a failure, so-called failure, right? A loss of something, maybe somebody passed in your family, maybe a close relative or a brother or sibling passed. You see there's a negative, there's a loss. Instead of you seeing it as, okay, this person is transcended to a better situation, a better experience. It was time for that person to leave. And in most cases, people pass because they're after being sick, after being in a sick body for a long time, then they pass away, right? So when you have a choice to see that person's passing as a negative or as a more empowering, okay, so this person's now moved to another experience in the spiritual world. There's left the physical world, right? And then you see yourself, okay, you know what? That space that person has left in me, maybe I can fill it in with something else, maybe another person, because you can meet new friends. Maybe you can learn to fill that void that person left in your life with something else, maybe more love, self-love practices for yourself, more compassion for yourself, or get a pet or something like that that you can nurture. If it was a child that passed away and you've lost that child, right? So you need to understand that it's always for the best, because life is a cycle. We are born, we live, and then we pass, right? We go to the other side, right? Not much is known what happens on the other side, right? But then again, we have more experiences here on the physical world, and maybe in other planes and other dimensions as well, right? But life is never ending. It's always moving, right? Even when you feel that there is a bad situation, remember that every situation is not forever, right? Because of the fact that that bad situation is going to pass when you allow it to pass. Most of us create our own suffering, inner suffering, and pain is because we are holding on to a negative situation too long. Let it go right now. That's what's the whole idea of surrender, flow. Let go of control of life and live in the flow. Let it be. Accept what is now for what it is now. Understand that it's passing, and appreciate every moment, and stop worrying too much about the future, because there is real no future except for the now, right? For example, yesterday, the now was the future. You understand? So it's like we're constantly living between this now and the future, and we keep on focusing on the future instead of enjoying the now, because the now is where you're actually creating the future, right? So if you're enjoying the now and you're creating positive stuff in the now, your future, your tomorrow is going to be more wonderful. You understand? So when people take away their energy and they focus on the now moments and thinking about the future, like now, today it's Saturday, right? Thinking about Monday's work. Yesterday was Friday. You were in the office and you worked. So whatever you were in school and you did whatever you wanted to do, and you had a good time. You enjoyed yourself, right? And maybe you never have such a good time too, but that's passing. It's past, and now you're here today and you're having this fantastic time. You're watching this crazy woman from South Africa talking on this live, and now you're wondering who's this person. You understand? So these are the things you need to see in life, that life is all about the experience, nothing more than just the experience. We had to experience life in its totality. Okay, anyway, the boy, the lady, P man, how are you, guy? How are you, the boy? How are you? Hope you're doing good. I'm Sissy, life coach and motivational speaker. I'm based in South Africa. Today we're talking about self-awareness, right? We're talking about self-development, but we're also talking about you taking your own sovereign control of your own life experience. We're talking about that today, right? And I spoke about you owning your own life experience, right? Being a sovereign being in your everyday moments, everything you are creating, it's coming from you. You're not a victim. Everything's coming from you, right? You are creating your life experience, right? So people don't want to take ownership. They rather blame something outside of them, a religion, a god, maybe their parents, maybe their job, maybe their family, maybe the country they live in, maybe the politics in their country. But they don't look at themselves and say, what am I doing? What have I been doing to add to the situation? Have I been making the situation better within myself from my own life experience, or have I been giving my power away and blaming the situation, circumstances, and not taking control of my life experience, right? So my channel, if you have not as yet, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. It's all about self-development and taking ownership and owning your life experience, right? So I make videos teaching because I'm also a life coach as well, right? So if you are interested in this type of topic, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, all right? So the role of creation, of conscious creation, very important. Everything is consciously created. Like all those people who created all these great inventions like electricity, the internet, and every other thing, all these apps, it's a conscious focus, right? You decide, I want to learn how to do this thing. You consciously focus on it and you create it. Same as with your life experience, right? I want to get a better job. I want to lose some weight. I want to start a business. I want to grow my hair. I want to, whatever you want to do, it's a conscious decision because it's a conscious process. Creation is a conscious process. You choose your frequency that you embody. You choose your perceptions, you choose your worldview. Don't lie to yourself and think that you don't have a choice with your worldview. Even if you are born in an environment with a certain worldview, it doesn't mean you need to stay there forever until you die and leave this reality. You can always change your worldview and then change your physical position, meaning that you go to a different place that's aligned to your new worldview, right? That's how it works. Then we call it success when somebody achieves something and then they go overseas and they relocate and immigrate overseas into a new, better situation. We call it success. Every single day is your success. It doesn't have to be a big move. Every single day is your success. When you manage to get up on time and get to the office on time, if you're somebody that's always been getting to the office late, if you manage to drive on the road calmly without getting irritated and swearing at the people and being respectful on the road to yourself and to others, that's a success on its own, okay? When you manage to keep to your diet or eat the healthy foods for at least a week or so, that's a success on its own, okay? Success doesn't have to be something huge, all right? It's all about you embodying a new vibration, a new perception, and following through. It's all about you taking ownership about your life experience, okay? That's the role of conscious creation. You being consciously aware that whatever small and big thing that you're doing is adding to what you want or what you don't want in life, okay? Because you are creating both things. We are responsible for the bad things happening in our life that are showing up, that the not so good situations, and also for the good things as well. We're responsible for all things in our life experience, right? I've had a couple of clients who say that they don't believe in manifesting because how come only bad things are happening? But I'm saying, but it shows you that manifesting and creating is a real thing because you are actually experiencing the so-called not so good thing, bad thing, because you actually created it, you aligned yourself to it. Then they ask like, how, sis, and how did I do that? Because I don't want it. I don't want it. I said, you see, that's the problem with you too focusing on what you don't want. And what you don't want, that's exactly what you are actually going to create because that's what you're focusing on. You should be focusing on what you want so that you can let that thing come into your life experience. You're constantly complaining about where you are now. That means you're telling the universe that I'm happy where I am now. You're telling the universe, you're telling God, you're telling the matrix, this is where I want to be because I'm focusing on this is my place, my sweet spot. You understand? So getting people to understand that is so much of a challenge in a world when people don't want to take accountability for their own life experience. People don't want to take accountability on the fact that you have that car that's always breaking down and you haven't bought a new car, it's because you're holding on to the one that's breaking down. You're not even thinking about the one that's going that's new. You keep on complaining about the one that's breaking down. So you keep on holding that core into your space. And the more you complain about, the more you talk about it negatively and tell the whole world, your friends, everybody, on how miserable you are with your car, the more you keeping that car into your space. Okay. So you need to like try and change that vibration by you doing the opposite. Try being, for example, I'm grateful I have this vehicle. This vehicle has served me for many years. Me and this vehicle, this car, we have a relationship, right? So I'm beginning to change my relationship with this vehicle, right? I really appreciate this car or this vehicle, right? And I know it's a useful tool in my life. I'm so grateful for it, right? However, I know that she's old now, the vehicle is old, the car is old. I need to release it so more a better vehicle can come into my life. What can I do to bring in this new reliable vehicle in my car in my life? Because this vehicle, this old one, was reliable before, but now it's old, it's worn out, it's now it needs to be replaced, right? That's all. Don't keep on complaining. I don't like my car. My car is constantly breaking down. Now you're constantly you're holding to that car, but you keep on focusing. But if you just say, yes, I'm thankful and I'm now ready to release it, what can I do now? You know, how can I get a new vehicle to replace this one that served me for so long and so diligently? This car has served me so well. I'm so happy. And now I'm going to go to another vehicle. So you go to the dealerships to go and do shopping for the vehicle. Go online and look for the vehicle that you would like, right? And now what are you doing? You're telling universe, yes, I'm ready to let go of this old one. I'm no more complaining. I'm grateful, but I'm ready now to move on to get this new vehicle. You see? So that's how it is. You're focusing your energy on what you want, not what you don't want. You're not going to be meeting every day. You get to the office and you're complaining about your car. You're talking to your friend, oh, this car broke down again. You're not worried about that. You know, this car served you well. Now you're letting go. Now you're going to go on to something else. Now you're going to go car shopping. And I don't care if you can afford it or not. Don't think about that. When you start thinking about things that are negative, now you're vibrating against the fact that, okay, I know that I don't have the money and I'm focused on this now. This is where I'm going to be. You don't be like that. You go and go shopping for that vehicle, okay? You go shopping in the vehicle and you tell the universe, yes, this is the vehicle that I want. How I'm going to get it, I'm not sure, but I know I'm going to get it. I know the universe is going to bring people, situation, and resources and circumstances that are going to allow me to afford this vehicle. Right? Remember that money is energy. Right? Before you see the physical thing, it's energy, okay? So it doesn't matter if you believe that all things are possible, that you constantly provided for, the universe is going to bring this person, the resources, the money, the situation is going to allow this call to come and land into your lap. Okay, right? So then it's a whole focus. Now you are focusing. Now you're telling God, universe, that this is what I want. That's a different vibration to continuously complaining about what you don't want. You have it now, right? But you're not allowing it to go because you're focusing on it, right? And the more you say that I don't want this thing, the more I don't want it, I don't want it, I don't want it, I don't want it. Universe, God, the matrix system is thinking only about your vibration, is speaking on your vibration, not your words. God doesn't speak in words, right? It's vibration. Words is a human expression, not a divine expression. Words. Now remember, when I'm speaking now, I have a vibration and a perception, right? So God is tuning to my vibration, not what I'm saying. What I'm even saying and what I'm feeling is my vibration when I'm saying it. It's the feeling, right? It's the feeling. What I'm saying, does it make me feel empowered or does it make me feel restricted and feel in lack? That's what I mean by vibration. When you're complaining about your car all the time, it's giving a vibration of restriction, lack, restriction, right? Not expansion, opposite. That's what we're talking about here when we say that God doesn't listen to your words, but listens to your vibration. That feeling that you are admitting out to the universe when you are talking and thinking about this core issue. This is just one example I'm using, guys. This falls for every situation in your life experience, right? And when I learned that, right? And I'm continuously learning more and more about it. Like when you're reading the books by, all the spiritual books to teach you about manifesting, like the one I'm reading now. Very interesting one, right? I got it today. I just started reading it now with interesting concepts about spirituality and how we can manifest our own reality. Everything is about you putting yourself in that vibration for you to be the god of your own reality, right? Remember that your emotional body is very big, not only your words. Your emotions are very big. When you're saying something, ask yourself, how does that thing make me feel empowered? Does it make me feel happy? If it doesn't make you feel happy, why you keep on saying it? Why you keep on complaining about it? Why you keep on repeating about the car doesn't work, for example? The car is always breaking down. Does it make you feel good when you talk about it? It doesn't make you feel good. It submits a high frequency vibration. Instead, what it's doing is restricting you, right? So people like Dr. Wayne Dyer, right? The late Dr. Wayne Dyer, right? Wonderful teachers of how to manifest. Put the emotion, understand that you are in charge of your life experience. Everything is happening through you, for you, and by you. There's nothing that's happening to you. You are the creator of your own reality. Okay, you are the creator of your own reality. So if you're complaining about your life experience now, remember that complaining is saying that yes, I like the situation. I'm focused on the situation. But if you are or saying, okay, focus on what you want and desire, right? Because I'm grateful for this new thing that's coming in my life experience. Very important. Very important to say that. And then you allow in the universe to bring it forth for you. Okay. Now that's also going to inspire you to act on it. Now you're going to the dealership, you're checking out the vehicles, you know that you're not worried about the money story, it'll come. Spirit will find a way for you, God will find a way for you. Right now, you know the universe is continuously conspiring for your good. Right now, you're letting it go. You say, okay, I don't know when it comes, but I don't care when it comes, but it will come. I'm open to it, however it comes, but I want that vehicle. And how it's going to come, only God knows, and I'm okay with that. Right? I trust in source, I trust in God, I trust in the universe. Basically, that's what you're saying, right? I know where I am now. I'm going to be grateful where I am now. Even if it's a job, even if it's a position you don't like and you feel that you want a promotion and you're waiting for so long, you appreciate where you are now and find peace and happiness where you are now. Look for something that you can be appreciative of about your job. Maybe you like the hours. Maybe the hours, you like the fact that you don't need to work overtime. It doesn't pay you a lot of money, right? But you don't have to work overtime. And there's people you're working with, there's great relationships. Maybe it's the people. Whatever it is, you need to find something in your life to make it give you that peace and that happiness in where you are now, because you're still working on manifesting and creating your own reality. You want better. However, better comes faster and more accurate when you're in the right frequency, right? That's what they say about you having that high vibration and aligning yourself to what you wanting and desiring. Okay. Then the role of conscious creation, as I spoke about now, right? There are practices to embody your sovereignty, right? Your sovereignty is important. All right. Here in this life, we're taught to give away our sovereignties, right? Like voting for political parties that don't really care for people, right? Because if I'm a politician, I'm living somewhere and I'm a politician, I'll have my own needs first. I'll put my own needs first and my family's needs first. You people that are voting for me, right? I'm only gonna see you in maybe 4 or 5 years, and we'll talk about it, and I'll promise you all new things, and then you will fall for my promises, and you will go and you'll vote for me. And if the rest of the years before the next voting session, I don't know you, I don't care what your problem is. I'm living my own life experience, guys. Please be realistic when it comes to politics and politicians. They don't care about other people's life experience. You have to live your own life and live your own experience and make those decisions and be that sovereign being that you are born to be, right? So practicing and embodying your sovereignty, very important. So here we are doing practices, daily practices. Remember that everything's created with a habit, with a repetition. All right. Morning intentional settings. I talk about this a lot in my lives and in my videos about you having a morning intention. Very important. Start your day by declaring, I am the creator of my own reality. I am the master of my own life. Today, I choose peace, joy, and expansion. Today, I choose peace, joy, and expansion. Remember, I, magical word, you, very important to yourself, okay? So you choose that with intention every day. And then there's meditation and visualization, also very powerful, right? Wayne Dyer speaks about it. A lot of people speak about it. I mean, even Florence Scovel Shinn, Napoleon Hill, Neville Godward, and all of the others talk about the idea of meditation and visualization, to picture something, to feel it, to live it in your mind before it even appears in your reality. Okay, that's how it works. Like you need a blueprint of what you want your life to be like. So you have that feeling, I am here at this space, this is where I am, this is my favorite place where I want to go, right? And you live it at that moment with emotion, because your visualization has to have an emotion attached to it, because the visualization are connected to your thoughts and your beliefs, right? So there has to be emotions attached to them as well, right? Very important, right? As I said, that affirmation is important, and then visualization and meditation is also important. Connect to your higher self and visualize the reality that you want and desire, as I said. Right, and self-inquiry and journaling, very important as well. This is what I've really soaked myself in, right, in September now, is doing the self-inquiring journaling, asking myself, am I living from the truth of, or from my conditioning? Am I living from my own truth, or am I living from my conditioning, my life conditioning? Okay. Then after that, you can use energy protection practices as well, like use affirmations. I claim all my power and energy back to me, right? I claim my power and my energy back to me, knowing that I'm a powerful being, right? Knowing that I'm creating my own reality. So I'm claiming back my power and my energy each day, right? So after your affirmations that you say in the morning, I'm the creator of my reality, and today I choose peace, joy, and expansion. Then you can say, I claim all my power and energy back to me from any person, situation, circumstance, um, being, spirit, past, whatever it is. I claim my power back and my energy back. Right? Today is a new day. Today I live and I work with authority over my life. Today I focus on my wellness and my abundance. Okay. Today I know that all things are possible and scarcity is an illusion. There's abundance. My vehicle will come because I know I want it. Whatever I ask for, I always get. It always comes. Right? When you believe that, you're able to manifest it into your reality. Right? The affirmations of your sovereignty, very important. I am the authority of my life. Firstly, I am the authority of my life. I am the authority over my life. Not my job, not my car, not my religion, not my spirituality. Me, I'm the authority of my life. I create my reality with ease and with intention. I trust my inner wisdom above all. Okay, now you're living as a God, but all these things that we spoke about, right now you're living like your own God. Every single day you're taking authority. You're setting your stage for your day. And in the evening, you're winding down. You're saying, thank you, universe, for my God position today. I know that I'm the sovereign God in my life, that I am my own creator. And today has been a wonderful day. Now I release this day and I prepare myself for sleep. So I'm fresh and awoke to now command my day tomorrow. Because you commanding your day, you are affirming it, you commanding your day every single day. Now you're living with authority. And in between the day, during your day, still remember that you are your own God, that you are your own sovereignty, right? You are claiming it every single day. And remember during the day as well, that when things happen, that you're not just responding, not reacting, but you're actually responding. You're consciously thinking about what's being said by somebody else, and you're assessing it. You don't have to give an answer straight away. You just tell them, okay, give me a few minutes, let me just digest what you said, right? Then you go back and you think about it clearly, then you respond. Now you're not just reacting, you're not being triggered, you're being aware and awoke, right? You're not making past hurts and perceptions and fears trigger a reaction. You're being more aware about your life experience. That's what it's all about. That's what self-development is about. You taking control of your life experience, okay? You being the God in your own life experience, okay? So when we all live like that, imagine what a wonderful world will create when everybody's being accountable for their everyday moments, when everybody's being their own God in their own life experience, taking their own power, not becoming victims, not blaming life and situation, society, not blaming their parents and their family, but taking responsibility for their everyday experience. You are where you are now because of your own creation, all you put in, right? Where you want to go in the future, that's also up to you. So you'll work towards that. You know what I mean? With discipline and consistency, you'll work towards it and you'll get there, right? But remember that every day is your day for a new creation and a new perception. Remember that we were born a blank slate, and then life conditioned us. However, we can uncondition ourselves and we can reprogram our minds and give them more empowering thoughts and empowering beliefs about ourselves and about life. Okay, so if you have not as yet, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, right? I'm Sissy, and life coach and motivational speaker, right? You can also check my videos and share with your friends, as well as a growing channel. Okay, so if you are interested in my type of topics, go ahead and check out all my videos and comment and engage as well. Ask questions so I can understand that there are people that really are interested in my content. Okay, so if for example, if you feel that you have some other topics you want me to speak about or questions about my videos, go ahead and comment, right? And then I'll make videos if you're interested in me creating or giving my view on certain other concepts regards to spirituality and self-development and self-awareness. Okay, so have a great weekend further, and remember that you are loved, that you are protected, and everything begins in the mind. This is a mind game, right? Everything begins in the mind. All right. So have a great weekend further as well, right? And a great Saturday. Ciao.